Imagine walking through a luxury shopping mall in Miami. People moving fast, soft music playing in the background, nobody really paying attention to anyone. And then suddenly, you notice him. Not because he's trying to stand out, but because something about him just feels different. And then someone quietly whispers, "You know that's Pharrell Williams, right?" A few seconds later comes the real shock. "You know he's 53? You would probably stop for a second. Because somehow, nothing about him feels like a man in his 50s. He doesn't even look like a celebrity obsessing over age. He just looks fresh, relaxed, healthy, like someone who figured out something most people still haven't. So naturally, your mind starts asking questions. What exactly is this man doing differently? So what exactly is the secret? Because the most fascinating thing about Pharrell Williams today is not simply how wealthy he became. It's the way he lives. A lifestyle built on discipline so consistent, it almost feels unreal.
Wake up at 5 a.m., 5-minute plank, 500 crunches, and then I do like an hour-long, like super hot bath and sweat out, 2 or 3 pounds or whatever.
And somehow, that mindset seems to make aging work differently around him. But the closer you look, the more Pharrell's story begins to reveal something deeper. Because maybe Ageless does not begin with skincare at all. Maybe it begins with how someone protects their peace, how they train their mind, how disciplined they remain when nobody is watching, which naturally raises a bigger question. If Pharrell Williams really lives with this level of discipline, what exactly has that discipline built for him? The short answer? An empire worth hundreds of millions of dollars. According to Celebrity Net Worth, Pharrell Williams is estimated to be worth around $250 million in 2026. But what makes that number interesting is this. It was never built from one lucky moment, not one viral hit, not one business deal, not one era of fame. Instead, it looks more like the result of 3 decades of relentless consistency. At the center of everything sits music. As one half of the Neptunes alongside Chad Hugo, Pharrell helped shape the sound of modern pop, hip-hop, and R&B. Songs like Happy, now streamed billions of times, alongside massive records such as Blurred Lines and Get Lucky, created something bigger than fame. Royalties, publishing, long-term ownership, and perhaps most importantly, income that keeps arriving long after the headlines disappear. Over the years, Pharrell also became one of the music industry's quiet architects, producing for artists like Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Justin Timberlake, Snoop Dogg, and Usher, building a catalog that continues generating value through streaming, licensing, and publishing. But music was never the whole story. Because Pharrell did something many artists struggle to do. He diversified before he had to. Back in the early 2000s, he co-founded Billionaire Boys Club and Ice-A-Cream alongside Nigo, brands that slowly evolved into streetwear institutions instead of trend-of-the-month celebrity merch. Then came another unexpected chapter. In 2023, Pharrell became men's creative director Louis Vuitton, stepping into one of fashion's most influential luxury roles and quietly expanding his influence far beyond music. And somehow, he still kept building. Human Race emerged from his clean living philosophy. Jupiter added another creative lane. Investments, design collaborations, creative partnerships. The deeper you look, the clearer the pattern becomes. Discipline did not just help Pharrell make money. It helped him build systems that continue creating wealth. Because Pharrell does not seem to live with the exhaustion that often follows extreme celebrity success. No public chaos, no feeling of someone slowly collapsing under decades of fame. While many stars from the same generation struggled to stay balanced, Pharrell somehow appears more focused, more grounded, and calmer with age. So what's really going on inside this man's almost military-like routine? Could discipline really be the thing that turned talent into an empire, while somehow helping him stay balanced, and maybe even younger, at the same time? Because the internet loves a simple explanation. Maybe he just has incredible genetics, or maybe he got lucky. But the more you listen to Pharrell Williams talk about his lifestyle, the clearer it becomes. Pharrell does not really believe in shortcuts or miracle fixes. To him, looking ageless seems far less about genetics and much more about consistency. One thing Pharrell talks about almost obsessively is water. He has openly admitted that hydration sits at the center of how he takes care of himself.
Truth be told, all I drink is water. I drink this water called Flow. And then there's this sparkling water that's flavored called Waterloo.
Simple. Almost boring, actually. But maybe that is exactly the point. Because Pharrell's philosophy rarely sounds glamorous. And then there is something else people rarely expect. Baths. Yes, baths. Pharrell has repeatedly talked about being submerged in water as part of his wellness routine, even recommending Epsom salt baths.
Being submerged in water is really good for your skin. I recommend like an Epsom salt bath, 20 to 30 minutes. You sweat out the toxins, and then as you're getting out, when your body's cooling down, your pores just close and your face looks like porcelain.
But what makes Pharrell's lifestyle feel different is that it goes deeper than skincare. Because somewhere along the way, his routine became deeply mental too.
I meditate in the shower every day. I meditate when I plank every day. I do it for 5 minutes every morning. My longest plank is 12 minutes.
And suddenly, the story begins to feel different. Because maybe Pharrell is not really training his body first. Maybe he is training his mind. These things seem to matter to him almost more than appearance. His lifestyle reportedly leans toward clean eating, alkaline-focused foods, avoiding excess, and maintaining clarity instead of chaos. Pharrell largely stays away from alcohol and the kind of non-stop party culture that often follows celebrity life. Because many stars spend decades fighting aging. Pharrell seems more interested in fighting stress, fighting disorder, fighting the emotional chaos that quietly wears people down over time. Even his skincare brand, Human Race, reflects that philosophy. Not a 27-step celebrity beauty obsession, just a simple system. Cleanse, exfoliate, moisturize. At the center of it sits a belief Pharrell repeats often. Routine matters more than perfection. He has even said that genetics matter less than consistency. Because the deeper you look, the harder it becomes to believe this lifestyle happened by accident. So where does this disciplined mindset actually come from? To understand why Pharrell Williams seems so calm, grounded, and strangely untouched by chaos today, we probably have to go back to the place that quietly built him, Virginia Beach. Long before luxury fashion, before billion streams, before Happy became one of the most recognizable songs on the planet, there was simply a suburban kid growing up near the water. Pharrell was born the oldest of 3 brothers into a middle-class family that was never wealthy, but tried hard to stay stable. His father, Pharrell Williams, worked as a handyman and house painter. Practical work, physical work, the kind of job that teaches discipline quietly. His mother, Carolyn Williams, was a teacher, someone who later earned a doctorate, reinforcing the idea that education, patience, and consistency mattered. Money was not overflowing. Life was not glamorous. Sometimes the family struggled with everyday costs, but there was structure. And maybe more importantly, there was space. Pharrell has often described himself as a suburban kid, not someone raised in the harsh mythology people sometimes associate with hip-hop origins. Virginia Beach gave him something different: quiet, distance from major city chaos. The ocean sat only about a mile away from where he grew up, creating the kind of environment that almost naturally slows people down. Because even today, Pharrell carries an unusual calmness, like someone who never fully absorbed the frantic rhythm celebrity culture tries to impose. He once reflected on Virginia Beach in a way that says almost everything. The suburbs thought this was the hood, but really this place was magical. You just witnessed music bouncing off the walls. And perhaps magical is the right word, because this quiet city quietly changed music history. In 7th grade band camp, Pharrell met a kid named Chad Hugo. Pharrell played drums and keyboard. Chad played saxophone. Neither of them knew it yet, but they were about to become one of music's most influential creative partnerships. Together at Princess Anne High School, they joined the marching band, the Fabulous Marching Cavaliers, spent time experimenting with sound, jamming at each other's houses, and entering local talent shows. Then, something unexpected happened. Legendary producer Teddy Riley moved his studio nearby. Suddenly, opportunity no longer felt impossibly far away. But what feels most important here is this. Young Pharrell did not grow up obsessed with becoming famous. He was curious, almost obsessively curious. Science fiction, astronomy, comic books, music from everywhere, hip-hop, grunge, rock, even hair metal. He seemed less interested in fitting in, and more interested in understanding how things worked, which may explain something important about the Pharrell we see today, because fame arrived after identity, not before it. But then, music turned that quiet kid from Virginia Beach into something much bigger than anyone could have imagined. And strangely, there was a period when you were probably hearing Pharrell Williams almost every single day without even realizing it. Because Pharrell's rise never looked like traditional superstardom. He did not storm into the spotlight demanding attention. Together with Chad Hugo, Pharrell formed the Neptunes in the early 1990s in Virginia Beach. At first, they looked like two curious kids obsessed with sound. But by the early 2000s, they had quietly become one of the most dominant production teams in music history. And what made the Neptunes feel different was their sound. Minimalist, futuristic, unexpected rhythms. Strange spaces inside songs where silence somehow felt just as important as noise. Their music sounded familiar, but also strangely futuristic at the same time. The numbers still sound unbelievable. In 2003, reports estimated that 43% of songs played on American radio had some connection to the Neptunes' production. Think about that for a second. Almost half of American radio. By 2004, they won Producer of the Year at the Grammy Awards, and later, Billboard would name them Producers of the Decade for the 2000s. Honestly, once you start looking at the catalog, it almost feels impossible. Hot in Here by Nelly. I'm a Slave for You for Britney Spears. Rock Your Body and Senorita for Justin Timberlake. Drop It Like It's Hot with Snoop Dogg. Hollaback Girl, Milkshake. Tracks for Jay-Z, Usher, Clips, Ludacris, Robin Thicke, and somehow the list just keeps going. But here is what feels most fascinating about Pharrell. He rarely felt desperate to remind the world that he was behind the music. No constant need to claim attention. He often let the work speak for itself. People danced to Happy, streamed Get Lucky, argued endlessly about blurred lines, and many listeners never even fully realized how often Pharrell had quietly shaped what they loved. Maybe that was his real superpower, being everywhere, without needing to dominate the room. Because while many artists and producers from his generation slowly got consumed by fame, public meltdowns, scandals, burnout, creative collapse, Pharrell remained strangely balanced. He moved fluidly between roles. Producer, artist, frontman with NERD, solo star, fashion figure, creative executive. And somehow, he never seemed to lose himself inside any of it, which might be the rarest achievement of all. Because eventually, success creates a harder challenge than failure ever could. How do you stay yourself after becoming successful? Maybe. The most interesting version of Pharrell is not the legendary producer, the global fashion figure, not even the man standing at the center of billion-dollar creative worlds, but the version of him that quietly goes home. At the center of that life is family. Pharrell Williams married Helen Lasichin, model, designer, and longtime best friend, in 2013 after years together. Today, they share 4 children. Their oldest son, Rocket Air, born in 2008, and triplets, born in 2017, whose names they have intentionally kept private. And maybe that privacy tells you something important, because despite decades of fame, Pharrell has never seemed interested in turning family into performance. At one point, he said something surprisingly simple about Helen. "My wife is everything. I love you, baby. You're the best." And the more you look at their lifestyle, the clearer it becomes. Family is not sitting somewhere in the background of Pharrell's success. It appears to be the center of it. His children rarely appear publicly. There are no constant family vlogs, no oversharing, no turning private moments into celebrity content. But occasionally the family quietly shows up, like during the Louis Vuitton Men's Fall/Winter 2026 to 2027 show in Paris, where they appeared together in quiet support. In an era where fame often rewards oversharing, Pharrell almost seems to move in the opposite direction. Selective, intentional, quiet, because he seemed to understand what many people spend decades pursuing, that true peace can be the ultimate luxury. And perhaps that is the deeper lesson hidden inside Pharrell's story. Because after hundreds of millions of dollars, global influence, and decades of success, the thing he seems to value most is surprisingly simple: a life that still feels balanced enough to truly enjoy. But now we want to hear from you. Do you think Pharrell Williams has discovered the real secret to staying youthful and fulfilled? Or is this kind of disciplined lifestyle simply too difficult for most people to truly maintain? Let us know your thoughts about Pharrell Williams in the comments below.